Hi, today I'm talking about simplifying Docker Compose and test containers integration with Spring Boot 3.1. So before Spring Boot 3.1, if there were Docker containers supporting the application, we had to start the Docker containers first and then start the app. But with Spring Boot 3.1, we can simplify this process by adding the following dependency: the Spring Boot Docker Compose. So this dependency will check for the file compose.yml, otherwise docker-compose.yml, docker-compose.yml. So it will check in the root folder. So this is a sample Docker Compose file, a MySQL one exposing to port 3308. So this is my sample controller, the repository, and this is just an application just to show how when I start the app, it picks up this Docker Compose file or not. We can just see now. So see, when I start that application, you can see that container MySQL 8 server created, started, and then waiting and says healthy. So you can see the Tomcat started. So app is up and running now. So in my application.properties, I have set up this one spring.sql.init mode always, so that it will go for this scripts, the schema, and load the data into that. So this is the data that I am loaded once the application app is started. So we can check whether that is working or not. So like if I take the browser, yeah, so and check localhost 8080, so you can see that all those data is here now. So in case if your file is different, then name is different, a location is different, then you can use a different property called spring.docker.compose.file. There you can mention your property, and in the logs you can see it picked up the file in the root folder. So in case if it is a different file name or a different folder, then you can use the Spring Boot property to mention that it's loaded from a different folder. So the next is about the test containers. So if you're not a big fan of Docker Compose, then the next option may be to use the test containers. So there may be different different options, but if you are going to use with test containers, yes, you can create a test configuration class. So there you have to map to our main class, and so once it is in your test root, this configuration, it won't go to the production. So if I start this this class, you can see that the MySQL test container starts up. Yeah, so you can see that MySQL TC, the TC refers to the test container. So TC MySQL.latest, so that is the test container that I'm started. So it's waiting. So now you can see the Tomcat is also started. So app is ready. So it's from the just note down, it's from the test root. We are creating this configuration class, and once we start from here, actually our app is up and running with the test containers, so that you have seen how the logs were in the logs that. So now it's all about service connection, add service connection. So what it does, so before Spring Boot 3.1, we have to do the coding like this, add dynamic property source, and we have to manually mapping all the Spring Boot properties to make the Spring Data JPA. So we have to do that before, but with Spring Boot 3.1, we don't need that code. Just put add service connection. That's all. So the next is about at restart scope annotation. Part of DevTools informs Spring Boot that the container has already started, preventing it from attempting to start it again. So this is actually a part of the DevTools. So what DevTools is actually checks any changes in the code and starts the app at the earliest or quickest, the fastest. Uh, so uh, so overall, Spring Boot, Docker Compose support, and test containers simplify the management of Docker containers, and they help integration with the Spring Boot application.